So you are learning or planning to learn Chinese? Well, then we're in the same boat. As you try handed Chinese, you might realize that it's so difficult to memorize these characters.
They are so different. A myriad of strokes, shapes and tiny elements, and only to realize that two equally complex characters are pronounced in the same way.
Well, there is a solution, and the solution is called memory palaces, arguably the most effective memory technique in history, which I mentioned in a couple of my previous videos, by the way, so be sure to check them out.
Let's take an example. Recently, I had to learn the Chinese family tree, and just so you know, it's as complex as it gets. In fact, one would rather opt for a smaller family because every family member has his specific term. Grandparents are different depending on whether it's on your mother's or father's side. All of your siblings have different terms depending on age and gender, and their children have subsequently different nephew terms just like their spouses. And don't get me started with your own children and grandchildren.
And now let's take an example and memorize these. This time we're going to learn "爷爷", father's father.
What we're going to do now is find associations for the character and its pronunciation, and then place this association into a palace, hence ensuring that we remember it. But first the association. How do we remember "爷爷"? A couple of different approaches exist, but what I do is this. I take the word and split it into syllables. Yeah. Now I choose a word of which the first syllable corresponds to the Chinese character. So "爷爷" could be split into "yeti" and "yeti". In fact, I would simplify the task by remembering only one "yeti", because all family member notions have two or more syllables. And when you see the character itself, you notice that the character consists of two identical components, hence it's most probably a word made out of two identical sounds, which is "yeah". Now the most difficult part, the character. What many do not realize is that characters are made up of much simpler characters, which are easy to link to an association. Let's zoom this in. Tell me, what do you see? I see a basic character here, which reminds me of two crossed hammers, and below I see a T and a hook. Your job now is to create an association out of it. Now, I imagine a rather bizarre battle between Mr. T wielding a big hook against a guy wielding two giant hammers. The guy wins and Mr. T is utterly defeated.
Well, that was a funny association, wasn't it? Well, that's exactly the point. Funny things are easily remembered, which is why the association has to be as entertaining and bizarre as possible.
Note, the best thing to do is to take the basic characters, there are about 100, and create associations or even two for each of them. This way, you're always ready to memorize a more difficult character like the one I mentioned before. Now that we have associations for the pronunciation and the character, it's time to put them somewhere. Well, "爷爷" means father's father. If you have ever been to your granddad's house, just put the associations there. Say, the pronunciation image "yeti" on his porch, jumping around or trying to get into the house, and the bizarre battle in the living room. If you haven't been to your granddad's house before, try to pick your own house and create a memory palace within it. Say, the basement is the location for your grandparents since they are the roots of your family. So put "爷爷" into one of the corresponding rooms. To avoid confusion, imagine your dad's dad chilling on a rocking chair just in front of the door so that you know what the association within stands for. Now, I know this sounds completely weird and new, but it works like a Swiss clock if you pick the right association. Do the same with each family member and any other thing, and perhaps you and me will learn Chinese in a much faster and enjoyable manner than the rest.
Alrighty, I hope this video was useful. If you wish to find out more about memorizing names, dates, vocabulary, numbers, etc., be sure to subscribe to our social platforms. We're going to post new stuff very soon. Alrighty, thanks for watching and see you next time.